Hello, everybody. I'm back. It's Your Art Matters week. We are on day 6. This week has just absolutely flown by. And it's been incredible to see all the messages, all the posts, the drawing challenge, just everything is what we envisaged and what we planned. So thank you so much to everybody who's been contributing. And today we've got a really, really inspiring talk with two of my lovely members over inside the hub, Dorota and Jennifer. And we are going to be talking about art and mental health and their journeys into art and how they have started to collaborate, which I think is going to inspire you all. So welcome, Dorota and Jennifer.
Hello.
Thank you.
And before we get stuck into talking, I just want to say a big, massive thank you to these two ladies, because ages ago we wanted to create a shop, and it has been my dream to give back to charity, and I had no idea how to make that happen. And then the shop idea and selling our own merchandise became a bit of a reality. Well, a bit of a reality, a big reality. It's launched and we've got our own shop, and we reached out to Dorota and Jennifer to see whether they would be part of that, and they very kindly gave us 2 of their artworks to use on our merchandise. And I just have to say that all the sales are going to the charity. We've set up a separate company called Your Art Matters, and everything is going through that company. But I just want to say a big massive thank you for sharing those artworks, and I've got 2 of them to show you. So here they are. These are the journals, but there are mugs and there are tote bags and all sorts, hoodies, t-shirts. So I will put a link to the shop, and I just want to say thank you, ladies, for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you. I haven't seen the journals in the shop. I'll have to check.
Okay, that's my mistake. They are coming. They're coming. Andrew is going to have them on there today, stroke tomorrow. I've just remembered. Thank you.
Great.
I will put on there. I'll send you them. So yes, these are coming. We've just, but all the hoodies and everything else are on there. And what we're doing, it's so nice that there's a charity called TIPA that we found, who are based in Mauritius, and they are providing art classes and art resources to all the underdeveloped parts of Mauritius. And they're working with 500 kids and families right now doing that. And everyone who buys something is contributing towards that amazing charity. So that's just our first step to being charitable and giving back. So it makes my eyes well up. So thank you, you two, for being part of that. It's really, really.
You are so welcome. It's an honor, and it's funny enough that the piece that you chose is the piece that I created during one of the workshops with United Art Space, and also it is the title is Mother's Love. So it fits really well to your theme of supporting children and those who may not have enough money and love to be supported in art. So it's spooky. Again, another spooky thing that happened in our life, that somehow universe interlinks everything.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because we're both really busy. So when we're organising these things, it's like an email back and forwards over a few months, and things get lost in translation. So we never really spoke about that meaning behind it. So it's so amazing how that's just organically just come together, isn't it?
Yeah, it was meant to.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, sorry guys, I can see lots of people saying I want a journal. Yes, I will check with Andrew to see when they're going on. I need to just keep this shut sometimes. Andrew's going to be sitting there going, no, don't tell them about the journals. But we do have journals coming, because we know that we advocate sketchbooking and journaling, so they are coming 100%. So yeah, beautiful.
Yay.
Everyone's just saying how synchronized, and it all comes together, the connections we make, which yes, we want to talk about during this conversation. So let's start. First of all, I'd love to just speak to both of you, and I'll speak to Jennifer first and then Dorota, just about why art matters to you, your journey into the arts. And I know we could talk for hours and hours about this, but just tell us a little bit about that journey and why art matters so much.
Well, hi, everybody, first of all. I think for me, art matters because it's the biggest therapy that I've ever found throughout my life. I have been I've been dealing with my own mental health issues since a very young age. And I've often been disappointed in the help that I've received through, a string of really bad therapists, to even being turned down for help when I've refused to take medication for different things. I've had doors closed telling me that if you don't take the medicine, then we're not going to help you. Good luck. You can go private. And I've been doing art my entire life. And I've realized that whenever I face these different struggles in my life, the way for me to reach some level of calm, sanity, for that matter, a fantastic release, a way to center myself, is by creating. And it doesn't always have to be something enormous. We do Dorota and I do events where we're, talking about art therapy and just small exercises. But for those of us that are actually artists, we can get into things that are really big and really meaningful, and it can help us deal with a lot of our emotions, a lot of trauma, anything we've got going in our lives that we maybe can't find the words to talk about. But it's just been absolutely mind-blowing to me. I had a recent death. My mom recently, it's actually been a year now, which I can't believe. And that set me off on the biggest change in my art than I had ever experienced before. And I was really able to tap into the reason why I create what I create. And I realized that what I need to do, what I feel I need to do from a soul level, is reach as many people as possible and let them know that, even though we might have some sort of diagnosis, we might be going through something really, really difficult in our life. That's not what defines us. There are so many more interesting aspects about us. And I really want to smash the mental health stigma and get people to open up and talk honestly about things that are bothering them without the fear of being judged. And I think that's the biggest reason I create what I create. And that was all completely discovered through being in the hub and going through the deep process of discovering your why. And it's just been life altering. I mean, I can't imagine not knowing why.
I know, and it's hard for some people to grasp that, because some people are so far away from their why. They're like, I don't have a why. And it's like, you do, it's in there. Everybody does. So just back to when you came into the hub, what situation were you in terms of your art? What were you making at that point? And
when I first came into the hub, it came at a perfect time. I had lost my mom in March, and I think I came into the hub in July. I think you were running the workshop in June, maybe, with it opening up in July. And at that point, I had kind of been unable to create anything. I was just in this really, really dark place. And by joining the hub, I started to play again. And what I noticed is that prior to losing my mom, a lot of my art was very, very happy. It would be a bit more realistic, but there wasn't. Well, maybe there is a deep meaning to it, but I haven't really, gone through the why process with those pieces of work. But I noticed that everything started changing, mainly because I was in a really bad place to begin with, and things got a lot darker. And all of a sudden, I started drawing these women, and I had no idea who they are, what their stories were. And things just started to shift on a kind of slow. It was a slow process, but I realized that these women had a lot of depth. They all had stories that they wanted to tell. I started creating these women very filtered because I noticed through my own process that when I was trying to talk about what was happening in my life, people weren't really comfortable with it. People aren't used to hearing other people talk about what's bothering them. They're used to that, how are you? Oh, I'm okay, and that's it. That's all they really want to hear. And so I took a different approach, and I tried to be really honest and realized that everybody else was using like an Instagram filter over themselves and only showing something that they believe society wanted to see. So over time, I realized my girls, they have this Instagram fuzzy focus, but they're also breaking outside of the lines because they want to break that mold. They want to reach more people. And then they have these more realistic eye, which they're bearing to the world to try to really connect with someone, to show their true soul, their true self. Yeah, exactly. And that's actually one of my very first pieces that I did. She has a brown eye, and actually behind me I have one with a brown eye, and one I can show you. I started changing the eyes because I felt that you couldn't really see the details. So the first few were brown, and then I started doing them on a white paper instead, so you could really see the details and see them from farther away. And another thing that I really like about them is I think that we're all made up of so many different layers. There's so much to learn and to show about ourselves. So the eyes are actually made on a different paper and then attached to the painting, so that they're actually jumping off and coming a little bit closer to you. So, yeah.
Amazing. And I remember when your girls started to appear in the studio sessions, when you came to do the studio sessions.
Right.
Like, ooh. And then you started to think, where is this going? And I remember you saying just then about how it was a slow process. And I remember you processing this, like, what does this mean? Who's this for? I'm struggling to connect. Do you remember all of that? And now, how is it connecting? It's like, it's really connecting, isn't it? And it has. Yeah. And so
it's just been an amazing journey. And I think, the thing that has really, really helped me through it, art-wise as well as mental health-wise, has been this incredible tribe that I found in the hub. And not only the people, but all of the information that you share with us, the therapeutic information that you give us to walk us through why we're doing, the mindset, the who, the why, the everything. It goes so much deeper than the surface. Yeah. And I think as an artist, I had never realized that before until you kind of forced me to dissect it and jump in deep. And it's mind-blowing.
That's amazing. And then you've met Dorota, which I want to just talk to Dorota first before we talk about this amazing collaboration that you both have, because it's amazing. You've got to stay and listen to this. So let's just jump to Dorota and listen to Dorota's story. Then I want to talk about how these amazing women are collaborating. So Dorota, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. And so just share the same kind of thing. So how has art impacted you? Why does it matter to you? And a little bit about your journey.
My journey also starts in my youth, when I had the first onset of depression, which wasn't recognized, and I struggled for many, many, many years in my, in silence on my own. I was very artistic as a child. People were saying that I'm gifted. However, because I was not allowed to go to art school, I abandoned art completely. During therapy later, it was discovered that perhaps this contributed to my mental health deteriorating, because I was suppressing urges that were in me, and I wasn't expressing myself the way I could express myself. So I went through 3 rounds of postnatal depression. 2 of them were not recognized. I suffered in silence for many, many years, went through a lot of trauma, including domestic violence. And when my 3rd child was born, I had a massive complications. I almost died. This was due to medical negligence. but caused PTSD and depression spiraled down pretty quickly. And this time around, I was lucky that it has been recognized. I was offered help. Wonderful charity, Mum's Aid, offered talking therapy. And first time in my life, I was approached by the therapists who knew exactly how to bond with me and how to unpick certain aspects of my life. But because, in the UK, there is the scheme that, when you have the therapy, you have certain allowance of sessions, then you need to wait for next slot to become available. But my therapist wasn't too happy about me being left on my own. So I was directed to art sessions run by the same charity. And although I was skeptic, I was trying to hold on to some sanity and to do something, because I knew that on my own I will sink back to very dark place. So I attended those sessions, although I was very skeptic, and I was like, yeah, right. However, at the beginning, I was creating very dark blobs and, not doing much. But after each session, I felt a kind of release. I felt like something was lifted up from my shoulders. And few sessions in, something literally opened up within me. And I started to see color again, because I don't know if everybody's aware, but very often during depression, everything is quite out of focus, out of intensity. Colors are quite, not as intense as others may see it. But during that session, I opened up, and the first color emerged. And the facilitator of those sessions was brilliant. And she started to encourage me, look, you don't need to do it only once a week. You can do it every day, have a journal and do 5 minutes here and there, whenever your baby sleeps or whenever you can. So I started to do it. So this was 2019 March, and I never, ever stopped. Mm-hmm. When I started to do the art on my own, by accident, by chance, you appeared on my wall on Facebook at some point. So I signed up for those free workshops, and they changed a lot in my life, because I started to see the purpose behind what I do. Started to dig out why I'm really doing what I'm doing. And I couldn't sign up then due to financial reasons, but the next opening in summer, I signed up. I really calculated. I'm a bit on autistic spectrum, so I did a lot of calculations that this will cost me really a coffee a week, So I said, okay, I can give up going to the coffee shop and sign up for the hub. Yeah. So I did. And from the teaching I started in winter of the free workshops, I started to see the kind of structure to what I need to do, because starting the art again after over 2 decades, I realized that this is something what I want to do, that this is really me, that I need to take this out or it will kill me, literally. And with your teaching, I started to link up with other people, started to take part in mental health campaigns. And because my, there was on the way, and this is another similarity to Jennifer, we'll talk about it later, but I also went through grief. I lost my dad in first lockdown, and art was again the only, zone in which I could process things. I often refer to my art as trapping demons on the paper, because when I put it on the paper or canvas, whatever it is, I give it a form. I identify what is there and can process it. And this helps the healing. Don't get me wrong, those demons don't disappear like that, but having them on the paper, I can even kill them. I can just damage the paper and put it in a fireplace or whatever it is. So there is a lot of catharsis involved in putting it on the paper. Yeah. And I never stopped to the extent that I had my first exhibition in October. And guess what? pandemic. So my exhibition was closed after a week. But you know, there is a famous quote that I often repeat that if you can't fly, you run. If you can't run, you walk. If you can't walk, you crawl. So I did. So I did something unorthodox. And it was driven also by the aspect that my mom and my best friend who is in Poland couldn't come because of restrictions to see exhibition in any form or in any way. So I then published a book with all the pieces that were exhibited, with the narratives and poems in it. And I haven't stopped then. I'm still producing, I'm still exhibiting as much as is possible in the lovely, in quotation mark, pandemic. But Hub and art literally saved my life. I used to say that art found me by choice, but I found myself through art.
Oh, wow, that's so lovely.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I remember us talking when you joined and thinking, wow, this woman is going through a lot right now. And a lot of people, when they join the hub, they join because they're lost and they're trying to find their way. And do you remember when you joined and you were feeling like, I don't know where this is going, I don't know what it's for, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, and and it was so frustrating. So to see you now with your book, which I have, and I haven't mentioned in here, which I'm so proud of, and my kids love this book too. They love looking through this book. And to see now, when you joined, you had a solo show, but you still went ahead with that show despite the pandemic. And what was really impressive to me was how I know that you were nervous because you're like, I've done this, I can see the pandemic coming, but you reached out to everybody in the hub, everybody cheered you on. And what was really interesting to me was the way you handled it all. You handled it really well. Like, I know this isn't going to be the exhibition that I had in my head, but I'm going to do the book and that's what I think the hub teaches everyone as well, is to how to react to things. And you, Jennifer, you had a solo show recently, which is your first ever solo show. But before that, you had a rejection, which knocked the stuffing out of you. And then not long after, you had a solo show, and it was like, you never know what's around the corner. So both of you, thank you for sharing these stories, because not only does it help us realize that we use art, or some people do use art as a therapy, and that's okay. And I come across a lot of people that don't feel that their art is then worthy of turning into something because it's so personal and it's theirs, and they maybe don't see anything in it because it was this process. And Dorota and Jennifer will reassure you on that you can do something with your art. Your art will impact others. And to see their amazing journey and all the hurdles that they've jumped over, and to see where they are today, which brings me to this collaboration, because Dorota and Jennifer obviously came into the hub, as they've just shared, started to figure out their why, their purpose, and then crossed paths. And this is what I really love, because when we're working independently, which is possible, it's fine. But when you collaborate with people and you start to build a community and you start to come together, bigger things start to happen. Ideas bounce off each other. So let's just talk about this. So you two, how did you meet inside the hub? How did this spark happen?
We didn't meet inside of the hub. That's the really interesting thing. I was searching for mental health artists, mental wellness artists on Instagram. Yeah. And I came across Dorota, and then I realized her name sounds really familiar. And then we realized that we were both in the hub. So, I mean, it was just absolutely, absolutely incredible. And I think I had sent a message very early on saying, hey, let's collaborate on something. But then nothing happened for a little while. Neither of us really had any ideas. And feel free to jump in here.
Yeah, you sent that message initially, and nothing was born then after the message. I said yes straight away. I'm happy to, because I love collaborating, because it's collaboration, that's, you not only give, you receive as well. So I cherish any collaboration, because you learn, you have new ideas coming, and you can create something amazing. So I said yes, but we didn't have any idea, and then I said, let's have a Zoom, so let's know each other a bit, and we will see where it leads us. And the Zoom call was just mind blowing. In an hour Zoom, we came up with the idea. We discussed our lives a little bit and found some connections, and we got it running.
Yeah, and actually, we decided what we were going to do, and we decided what we were going to do was a Zoom call. That I think the first one lasted 2 hours or so, something like that, where we were going to reach out to people that have been very involved. I think a lot of them were from your side, Dorota, where they do a lot of nonprofit work for mental health. And we wanted to teach, we wanted to talk about our stories, but we also wanted to teach them about art therapy and how helpful it can be, and that you don't have to be an artist to be able to do some really simple exercises. So we both demonstrated an exercise each, and then we could see people taking these exercises we had given them, and they're popping up all over on social media, on Instagram, and people are really flying with them. And I think initially with the event, we had planned on doing it as a one-off. It was awesome, it was amazing, but it was a one-time thing. But we started getting the question, when is your next event? And so we did another one. And that was just last week, and that was just as rewarding as the first. Absolutely amazing.
It's incredible, isn't it? And I think there's so much power behind what you're doing, because I've collaborated with people. Sharon is collaborating with another artist at the moment, and whenever I see this, groups of people coming together or individuals coming as pairs, like you just said, ideas start to spark, but also you have more confidence, I think, to go out there and do things that you wouldn't usually do by yourself. And I know when I set up in the art space, I had Sharon right by my side, and I did so much more than I would have done if I was on my own. But I didn't know that you searched and found Dorota.
Yeah.
I've had people say that to me, though. They've gone to exhibitions and they've seen artists in an exhibition, and then they realise they're a hub member. It's like in Australia or something.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's incredible.
And we also started to find a kind of universe power in all that happens to us. This is how we found each other, how we started to do something together. And recently we are each time we are talking, we are discovering aspects about our lives that link us. Like, there is a few days difference in our Jennifer's mom's and my dad passing. It's a year, and you will not believe that, but we even found out that we have our daughters and pets called the same way, only in reverse manner.
I just get goosebumps.
It's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And I think, I don't even know how it came out. It came
about because I got a puppy as a Mother's Day gift from my partner. Right. And, as a puppy, she chews everything. So when I am on the Zoom, I very often, need to carry her to stop her from chewing my furniture. So I'd pick her up, and Freya said, and Jennifer said, "Oh, she's beautiful. What's her name?" I said, "Her name is Freya." And there was a silence. I'm like, what did I say wrong? I said, "You're kidding me, right?" I said, "No, her name is Freya, the Nordic goddess of love." All the story that I received her as a gift of love. I said, "My daughter is named Freya." And then we were silent for a moment. And we were we were talking, and my daughter was in another room shouting, "Mom, Mom!" And I was saying, like, "Jasmine, I'm coming, 1 second." And Jennifer said, like, you just spooked me now. I was like, what did I do again? What's your daughter's name? Jasmine. And I will let you continue, Jennifer.
That's my dog's name. It's just like,
I've got like goosebumps here.
Yeah, I mean, it's so strange. There are so many places where our lives just kind of totally, entangled. And I think that, the two of us were meant to work. We were meant to work together, to collaborate together. And it was so obvious, that first Zoom conversation that we had together. She's like a sister, the connection is just, I feel so deep. And just the fact that, we're both artists and we both have the exact same mission in the world. It's so special. And unfortunately, I'm not in the UK. I'm in Sweden. So that made it even the more unusual, I think, to meet somebody else from the hub, because the huge concentration is in the UK. So yeah, absolutely amazing. So blessed. So glad that we crossed paths.
Indeed.
It's incredible.
We had a second event, and because the demand was so big, we are now going to do monthly events. For our, we call it a creative release for mental wellness. Each time we have different topic. Our last session topic was the art with lowercase a, which people perceive as such, but we believe that it has a huge potential to kindle creativity. So we shared some techniques there, and we have even bigger project brewing, but we will leave it for later.
So are we going to leave it?
If there was a table now, Dorota would be kicking you.
I think it gives us accountability to mention it. Otherwise, it's too easy to back out. Yeah. So we have decided that after 6 months of doing this event, because we create, 2 different exercises each time, we're going to actually release a book together that has 12 different exercises and shows, good quality pictures of the artwork, as well as a description of how people can recreate it on their own. And it'll be my first book, so I'm super excited.
I'm glad you've put that flag in the ground now and said, this is what we're going to do. Go for it. It's like, I'm going to write a book. It's like, put the flag in the ground. Amazing.
Yeah, that one.
Tell us a little bit about your sessions then. So I know you said they're on Zoom, and can you just talk us through, how they help people, what you do, what the process is, just in case there's anyone listening here that might want to tune in, but maybe they're a little bit scared, so just tell us a little bit about them.
It's very informal, isn't it? We do it over Zoom. However, we announce it via Eventbrite, where people can register for free. It's only because we can then send reminders, and it's a very structured way of contacting attendees. We encourage people to register even if they can't do the particular evening with us. We always do it on Friday evening for some reason. It seems to work the best for us. But if people can't join us, we encourage them to register anyway, because then we can send them post-event communications with all we talked about and links to replay, because we put the replay on YouTube after each event, and anybody can rewatch it. I can even put the last one, a link. I don't know if it will work, Michelle, if I put it here.
Yeah, go for it, and I'll drop it in the comments. Absolutely. And if you've got a link to your website where people can go and check this out, drop that in there as well, and I can put that in.
And it's very informal. We always start with a bit of a talk about our topic, so what we perceive as or what others perceive as art with lowercase a, and we then move to more practical aspect, and encourage everyone to participate if they want on the go, or they can do it afterwards. And we chat a lot about how it helped us. And this would be the feedback we received after the first one and the second one it's amazing because people started to see, you know what, I never perceived that I could do that, that it's so simple that I can do that 5 minutes art and feel much better. And people started to do, in particular, there's one person who was always saying that they are not artistic at all. And she is now so artistic, we can see her Instagram, flooding with her creations. And yeah, and it's so lovely, informal. It's like, having a cuppa or another beverage on Friday evening while doing some art.
There's lots of people
Right.
asking, can you send us the link for where people register? Because there's lots of people asking for the link. Could you send me that?
Yeah, the second one just took place.
Okay.
The next one
so
will be end of May.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
But I think they can follow any of the links that we've pasted here now, either our Instagrams or our webpage, and then we'll announce the next one. We also recently asked people to sign up to a newsletter. That way we can notify them when it's happening. But I think it's really interesting because all these people come together, and it's typically a pretty small group. I think anywhere between 20 and 30 people or so at the most. And we give people the choice of whether they want their camera, on or off. We show them the activity, and we email them in advance to tell them what materials to bring. And we try to keep it really, really, really simple. So the last one I did, for example, was a collage. So we had told people to just pick out some images that speak to them. And then we, just a regular pen, just a ballpoint pen, some glue, basic glue, and scissors, and that's all you need. And with Dorota's, it was just, a piece of paper and some really basic, acrylic paints and a pen or a marker. So things that people just have at home, sitting around. And so we'll demonstrate the exercises, and then we kind of turn it over to the group and have some sort of discussion and just an open chat. And people have been really open to asking questions. And then so many of them want to share their work with us, which I find so inspirational, because so many of them say, for example, I'm not an artist, I've never done anything. And then there they are holding them up to the cameras, and you can just see the pride. And I mean, we had one girl last time that didn't have anything there, but then she decided to just go along with it, and she started painting with her tea. And she had never done anything at all. And then afterwards, she's holding it up, and it's such a good feeling, because she had said that she had gone through some family conflict earlier in the day. She wasn't in a good place mentally. And when she started to do this, it released so much of that tension and, so much of the conflict for her. It was just such a great way to release it. And that's the beauty of it.
That's so incredible that you're creating.
That's the example of the image created during last event. And if you believe it or not, you can see it on the video. It was created for a paint blob. And yeah.
I just love
and
it.
I don't have mine, but
I always talk about this journey of, and especially when people come into the hub, they come in because they want to learn how to sell their art usually. And what I say is keep an open mind, because what happens when you delve into your why and you delve into all of this, you start to go on a journey like I did setting up United Art Space. I would never have dreamt this. I couldn't have said, this is what I want to do. It kind of just evolved out of me just, going through my own 7 keys and finding myself. And what I love now about you both is that, you've done exactly the same. Art has been your own therapy. It's been your healing, but it's taken you on this incredible journey, and you've both kept a really open mind along that journey. And now you're having this ripple effect on everybody else's life that you're coming across. So it's not just about your artwork, but about, helping others now as well. So it's really, really beautiful what you're both doing. I think it's really incredible. As you know, I'm a big advocate of art and mental health, because it's how I found art myself. So I just think it's lovely. I'm just so glad that I had a small part in inspiring you towards doing this. And
a massive part, Michelle.
Massive, yeah, exactly. I don't think that without the hub, I would ever boarded the train to solo exhibition, or publish a book. I don't think, but it's about, you're teaching about, putting those flags there. And this is what I found. You do what you need to do, what you think that the action should take. Do not expect immediate effect, because I actually have the responses to something that I have planted months and months ago, because it never comes like that. And you will feel discouraged. You will hear a lot of no's and a lot of, I don't see a point in it. But you can't get discouraged. You need to do your own thing. You need to follow your action point, and little steps are better than no steps whatsoever. And in terms of mental health, we touched the topic about, the mental health that comes from within, and it's very personal and very emotional. Actually, I thought the same, that nobody will want to look at my images, because some of them are really reflecting very dark places of my mind. But actually, I was receiving feedback that, people feel a comfort. They feel understood, because there are so many feeling very similar thing, but they don't have words or outlet to let it out. And seeing the image, they say, oh my God, this is exactly how I feel. So you don't need to create art to have impact and healing from art to be accessed by people, because being around art can be healing. And if I used to say, if I help one person to feel better when looking at my image, or feel understood, or feel that they are not alone, my purpose is fulfilled.
Yeah, it's a great piece of advice for people. Just releasing that fear, and just knowing, just like that, just one person, if it's touched one person, but knowing as well this amazing journey that when you release this fear and you just open yourself up to the opportunities. And this is what I talk in the podcast about, this connection. So when you start to pull out the connections in your work, and it doesn't have to be mental health related, it can be anything that's unique to you, but you'll start to connect, like Jennifer and Dorota have, through their purpose and their mission. But it starts with understanding that in the first place, and then these amazing things start to happen, like the red car that I talk about all the time. Dorota and Jennifer were in the same group, but they never crossed paths. And it's crazy that you did when you started looking, and that's what's really interesting, isn't it? You've got to
absolutely. And I think just another thing I wanted to say is, when I joined the Hub, I had no self-confidence. I had no clue, what I was doing. And just like you said, Michelle, I had gotten a rejection, my first rejection, and I was just, could barely, I was devastated. And then I was offered this solo exhibit, and things have continued to just keep improving, and it's incredible. I'm not making a lot of sales yet, but I know that it's coming, but I am connecting with so many people. I actually have a call later today with a museum in California that contacted me because they want to hear more and have me come in for a talk, and possibly bring in a few of my paintings. And it's just, I'm in Sweden, and this is a museum in California. And it's just like, once you put yourself out there and you start really believing in yourself and embracing the fact that, yes, you are an artist and you know what's behind your work, I think things just start falling together in such a magical way.
Yeah, I think it's about, I used to call it find your tribe. You need to find like-minded people who have similar purpose in life. And this is again, Michelle, from your teachings, from the very first 3 workshops, I started to think about, okay, this is my therapy, this is mental health, so I need to find people who believe in mental health, talking about it, breaking stigma. So I am now a champion at 2 different mental health hubs. I cooperate with many charities to raise awareness and to break the stigma. And because of that, I started to be approached I am not approaching now. People approach me. And this is how it goes, you know?
Oh, that just makes me so happy, because I'll never forget. I actually remember where I was sitting. I was sitting on my kitchen floor for some reason when I was talking to you, Dorota, when you first joined, and we had a one-to-one session together. And I remember the very place I was sitting in my kitchen, because you really struck a chord with me. You know, I could feel the pain and the challenge that you were facing right then in your life. And I'll never forget that moment of thinking, gosh, I just want to do anything that I can to help you. And it just makes me oh gosh, to see now how you're flying like this and sitting here with us chatting, so unbelievably proud and inspired. Yeah,
Well,
really am.
we believe with Jennifer that no matter how negative energy might be in your life, you can turn it into a bit of positivity. To the extent that I am now in process of finalizing my second book, well, third actually, but on mental health is a second one, with the early journey through that art therapy in postnatal depression. Yeah, it was horrifying. It was very lonely and very painful. However, this shouldn't stop us from finding the beauty in the dark place, because there is always a bit of sparkle. Even in the darkest night, that there will be at least moon shining somewhere, right? So the beauty of that period was in my art and my poetry. So I am now finalizing the book with that pieces.
You're amazing.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
Both of you are. It's really incredible, really inspiring. I can just see all the comments pop in, and so many people are inspired and feel the same, that I want to bring awareness to mental health too. So aligned with what both of you have been saying. Robin's here. I've been able to draw this week. My husband has dementia. So sad to hear that. It's been a rough few days, but what I did do was get him involved in crafts and painting those crafts. Just being around art and creating a positive energy in our home was so rewarding for both of us. Today we have a friend coming to visit him, and I hope to get some of my own art started. Oh, big hugs to you, Robin.
Actually, on the topic of dementia, Michelle, there is scientifically proven research that with dementia, we know that cognitive skills are declining, memory is declining, and whatsoever. However, the ability to create and imagine is the last one to go. That is why dementia is very, open to creativity, and creativity helps, because this is the last kind of outlet that goes.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Monique says, I'm loving this conversation. I've started a similar journey with a small group of people who are childhood trauma survivors like myself, and this resonates so much, so inspiring. Thank you so much to both of you for sharing. And I have to say as well, so Jennifer and I, obviously Jennifer's a member, but our paths crossed, and Jennifer's now our community leader inside our new group. So we are creating a new group called the Makers, and producing art challenges to help people understand their voice and develop their language as an artist. And Jennifer's going to be heading up that community, which is really, really exciting. So it just shows you never know what the future holds, because I bet you never thought that would happen when you joined.
No.
Is feeling that lacking so much confidence, and so yeah, how incredible, and it's so amazing to have you on the team, Jennifer.
And thank you. I love it. And I mean, come on over to the Makers team, everybody. I'm just gonna plug the Makers real quick, but we do 3 live drop-in sessions per week, where we can all get together and make art. And we've kind of formed a close-knit group of people, a little sub-tribe of the hub, I suppose. And it's just been absolutely amazing with the challenges, with the drop-ins. Over there, we really focus on the making process, not as much of the seven keys. And it's just, it's an amazing place. It's wonderful, and it's just going to keep growing. So come and join us.
Yeah, and we've got Dorota coming in as a guest to do a guest session with us, to do a lovely workshop, and then Dorota's lesson will stay inside that platform as well. So, and of course, we can put your links to all the amazing things that you're doing outside of that as well. And I just love, it's why I love bringing people in, because there's enough room for everybody in the world. And, you know, I just think it's amazing how we all come together like this, doing all our own things, and we have community, not competition. So we lift each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you think that you don't have time, I work full time, 35 hours plus 5, usually overtime a week. And I still do art. I still produce books, and I still collaborate with other artists, including Jennifer, and still make things happen. So it is possible, even if you believe, yeah.
And you have a Jasmine and a Freya.
Oh yeah, 11-week-old puppy is nightmare. And recently, unwell male.
Yeah, but I'm with you on that. If you really want to do something, you can find the time. I mean, I've done United Art Space, setting up United Art Space with 2 babies, trying to juggle another job, and it was an hour a week that I started just to carve out. And you can find the time if you really want to do something. So yeah, that's great advice. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies. Do you have anything to add before we go? I feel like we've covered everything. We'll put your links in. We've put them in already. Hannah's in the comments putting your links. Maybe we could put links to Jennifer and Dorota's Instagram as well, in case people want to go and follow them individually. That would be great.
We always advertise on our social media, our events. Next one will be towards the end of May, and we will be meeting soon with Jennifer to finalize our thoughts on the next one. And I would like to bring to your attention that May, each year, it's a special month because at the beginning of the month there is the maternal mental health awareness week, and straight after Mental Health Awareness Week. So there will be loads and loads happening online everywhere. So you can then touch base with mental health topics and art topics, linking with mental health, because there will be a lot happening.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much.
And there's one thing I wanted to add. I get questions from people quite often when they're going through their own mental health issues, or they feel that it's really showing in their work. And people talk about how they don't necessarily want to be open about it. And I think that's perfectly okay. Your story can remain your own. You only have to tell the bits and pieces that you want to tell. A lot of times with the artwork that comes out of us that are dealing with mental health issues, there are a lot of stories behind the pieces of work. So sometimes you can let people make up their own stories and just let them make their own connections to their own lives. And I'm somebody that speaks. I'm an open book. I'm wide open. And I could probably say that's because of my ADD. I don't know. But I'm an open book. I will talk about everything and anything. And that's mainly because I want people to feel that I'm transparent and honest, and that I do understand what they're going through. But that's 100% up to the artist. Only share what you feel comfortable sharing, and you'll soar. You're gonna soar. You just have to embrace it.
Yeah, and sometimes the art created for the healing properties of art. You don't need to feel obliged to share it. You can keep it to yourself. You could keep it in your journal. But when you feel ready, you can then decide to show it to the world or not. It can be still, within your home environment that you display it only, or to close friends. So don't feel obliged that it must, show up in your main work. However, if you are worried that something is showing in your main work, creating a piece to express that and keeping it to yourself because you don't want others to know, it's fine. And then perhaps it will release the room to create other pieces that don't show the story you don't want to show, because it already got out. So I have an example here from my book. This is the artwork called Social Gathering. So because of my depression, I always had a trouble socializing, and I was very scared to share that piece because I was afraid that I will be judged that I have alcohol problem. But I decided, you know what? There are thousands and thousands of people who do exactly that, self-medicate with alcohol to give them courage and to give them strength to go out from their home, because otherwise they would be just in their bed covered with the duvet because they are in such a dark place. And actually, I got very good feedback about it, that so many people felt, oh my God, I now understand why this or that, because I feel like that. So yeah, you may be brave and share it, but you don't need to if you don't want to. This you are putting the boundaries there. This is your work, your life, your story, and you are in control.
Amazing advice. Amazing. Love it. And yes, and also I think, just to add to that as well, we were talking about this yesterday, about how sometimes something is really raw, and like we've just said, you don't have to share that. But what happens sometimes then is that you'll share a tiny little piece of yourself, and then it doesn't feel so scary the next time you share that piece, and you grow and grow. So from my own experience, I never used to share anything personal because I saw it as a bit of a weakness, and that's what I was told, and now you'll hear me sharing so much, and it's taken me a long time though to be able to get to this point of sharing. 5 years ago, when I set United Art Space up, I didn't share anything about my personal situations. So yeah, it's grown. So I just wanted to add to that yeah, back then I didn't share anything because I wasn't ready, and it was raw. And from taking those baby steps that Dorota said, those baby steps, sometimes you might grow into sharing more, maybe not. And it's all about your unique journey, and that's what you two are so amazing at sharing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's incredible. Thank you so much for joining today. So just to recap, they have amazing things on our shop. They sell their own artwork, of course. Jennifer and Dorota are both on social media, and then they've got the monthly drop-in sessions as well that you can sign up for. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to Dorota and Jennifer for taking the time out to speak with us during this event. Really, really grateful again for you to share that artwork that we're able to put into our store. So big thank you, ladies. And
thank you.
Art matters. If you think that it doesn't matter to anybody else, at least it matters to you, and that is why it's important that you create.
Yeah, it is.
That's right. And also, in the magazine that was just released for Your Art Matters, there is an article with the two of us. So definitely download your copy and have a little read.
Yes, thank you for reminding me about that. Though I knew there was something else that I needed to say. That's why I didn't wake up at the end and I thought there's something else. Thank you. Magazine, yeah, there's a whole double page spread about art and mental health as well with Dorota and Jennifer. So yeah, go and check out the magazine. So much goodness, it's hard to remember.
That's unbelievable.
Again, another spooky thing, isn't it, Jennifer? Because we were chosen to speak, to have an interview before we started to collaborate. And
for this, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I asked both. Oh yeah, let's just very quickly share this one last story, then we'll go. But yeah, I asked Dorota and Jennifer independently about featuring. No, the collaboration didn't even exist then, or I don't know.
No.
But yeah,
they don't know each other yet.
They didn't even know each other. So I'd sent 2 separate emails asking them to provide artwork, and then asked them to be in the magazine, and then it ended up, and then I was like, okay, they're collaborating, so this might as well be a joint interview. So it kind of evolved from the point of us ever asking you in the first place. So yeah, the universe was really pushing you two together.
Right.
It's amazing. And yeah, everyone's saying, yeah, art is the core, art matters, your art matters. Yes, thank you. Right, good day, everybody. Right, I'll be back tomorrow. We'll have some more member talks tomorrow. And then I'm joined with Artwork Archive. We've got 2 live sessions tomorrow. Artwork Archive are joining us tomorrow evening as well to talk about why art matters. And then I've just decided at the last minute to throw a celebration party on Friday, because I thought we've had this amazing week and we need a closing party. So I'm going to be throwing a party on Friday, and I'm going to be doing some extra little webinars next week as well, because from May I'm going to be hibernating for a while as I delve into the hub. So it's all been emailed to you all. You've got everything in an email with all the dates and everything. So I'll see you tomorrow for the final day. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.